This video will be a continuation of our series on connective tissues, and we will be covering dense, regular, dense CT proper in this video. So this is our first time that we are going to encounter a dense CT proper instead of a loose CT proper. And once we get into the specifics of our tissue, I will tell you what that means. But first, let's remember what makes it a connective tissue. So all connective tissues have a mesenchymal origin, and they have mesenchymal stem cells. We also have two major components to our connective tissues. We have the cells of the connective tissue, and then we also have our extracellular matrix. Our extracellular matrix is made out of two components: our ground substance, which is the fluid component of our extracellular matrix, and our extracellular fibers. We have three types of extracellular fibers. Our most abundant extracellular fiber type is collagen, and collagen is going to provide strength in the orientation of that collagen fiber, and collagen normally stains pink. Next, we have elastic fibers, which provide stretch and recoil to the tissue. Elastic fibers generally stain a dark purple. And lastly, we have reticular fibers, which create a branching network and provide strength in many directions. Our reticular fibers generally stain dark brown or black, or light blue. It depends on what kind of stain you're looking at. But in this video, we are covering dense, regular, dense CT proper, which we see right in the middle of our picture in this little L shape. So let's zoom in on that tissue. Here we see dense, regular, dense CT proper, and you'll notice that we're looking at a lot of pink. That pink is going to be many, many collagen fibers. Scattered throughout this pink that we see are going to be dark purple fibroblasts or fibrocytes, and these tend to line up in lines throughout our collagen. So not only are we seeing the pink collagen fibers, but our cells are generally going to be purple in color, and you can kind of see your collagen fibers are sometimes a little wavy and sometimes they are straight, but we've got this little wave in the middle of our slide here. But we also see some white space. Many slides of dense, regular CT proper have a little bit of white space, but not very much white space. If you think about areolar tissue, we had a lot of white space, and that's because our fibers were fewer and farther between, and that was loose CT proper. Here we have dense CT proper. So we've got tons of collagen fibers packed in very close together. So there's our general description for our dense, regular CT proper. Let's take a look at some of our specifics. We already mentioned our specialized cell type. Whenever we see collagen fibers, we should immediately think fibroblast and fibrocyte. And when we see that much pink in nice lines like that, we should think collagen fibers. So there we have our specialized cell type, fibroblast and fibrocyte, which we see here. This is our whole cell. It's not just a nucleus, and they are very dark purple. They're so dark purple that you cannot really see through them, and they are arranged in rows. So we've got lines of fibroblasts and fibrocytes. And our collagen fibers can be a little bit wavy, or they can be straight. When we look for dense, regular, dense CT proper in our body, we are going to find it in our tendons and ligaments. tendons are going to connect muscle to bone, and ligaments are going to connect bone to bone. So our dense, regular, dense CT proper is acting as a connector between two different types of organs. So the function is going to be found in looking at the function of our collagen fibers. They provide strength in the direction of orientation. While all of our collagen fibers are oriented in the same direction, and that is why we call it dense regular CT proper. They're all pointing the same way, which means that we are providing a lot of strength in one direction. So when we think about our tendons, our muscle is going to contract and pull on our bone, and so our dense, regular, dense CT proper in our tendons is providing a lot of strength when our muscle pulls on our bone to produce movement. And then with our ligaments, we are going to bind bones together so that when our bones move with muscle contraction, we don't fall into this great heap of a human. So providing strength in one direction, connecting our muscle to bone, and binding our bone to bone to resist strong stresses. So here again we have our little summary slide, and it points out all the things that you need to know about our dense regular CT proper. But let's take a look at a couple of different pictures. Here our collagen fibers are oriented in different directions. So in our original picture, we had collagen fibers going horizontally across our screen with a little bit of waviness right here. But in our new picture, you can see that our collagen fibers are a little bit more wavy, and they are going in the vertical direction down our screen. Okay? And in this picture, it is very clear that our fibrocytes are arranged in lines in between our collagen fibers. This is very important because dense regular CT proper can be confused with smooth muscle. So if you want a detailed explanation, please go find our video on smooth muscle. And for now, we're just going to focus on dense regular CT proper. So we can see not a lot of white space, a little bit of white space, but we've got densely packed collagen fibers all nestled in next to each other. And we have our fibroblasts and fibrocytes creating lines in between our collagen fibers. Here's a close-up view of that same tissue. So we can very clearly see our collagen fibers almost individually here, running parallel to each other, being a little bit wavy, but all running in one direction. And we can clearly see our fibroblasts, and you will also notice that they are very darkly colored, and you cannot see through our fibroblasts or fibrocytes. That's also an important distinction between dense regular and smooth muscle. So our fibroblasts or fibrocytes are very densely pigmented so that you cannot see through that cell. One more picture, because it really depends on the slide and your stain what you're looking at. But here our fibers are oriented horizontally. They've got a little bit of wave to them. You're going to see our fibroblasts and fibrocytes appear similar to our other slides, where they're a little bit longer and drawn out, but pigmented so that you cannot see through them. And you can see that they tend to appear in lines in our tissue. So if you have any questions regarding dense regular CT proper, please do not hesitate to contact your instructor.